Hey, what's good, people? This is episode 7 of a detachment of the Option podcast. This is called Sports Debate Tuesday. This episode is brought to you by Beach Volleyball National Events and brought to you by Endless Summer Beach Volleyball. Come play with us. And NY Varsity Sports. Watch me, watch you. So here we are. I'm Jason DeBeers. That is Rob. Keep it McLean. What's good, bro? We here another day, another dollar. But for the people listening at home, you missed her the last 2 weeks, and we got to give the people what they want. There she is. Miranda. You were missed the last 2 weeks.
I finally got one. I got a song.
Dude, we did it. Listen. We did it. Rob will tell you we did it, but it held on by a thread, okay? We can't live without you. We can't smile without you. Words don't mean nothing.
Oh my God, stop. Tell me more.
Yeah. Oh, see? No, oh my God. I got the hue. We got a hue red on that camera to blow up the already blushed face.
That's it.
All right, so what's good? Good? Ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
All right. I talked enough, Ash. Let's do it.
All right, let's start off. Okay, this past weekend, the Lakers defeated the top seed from the East Coast, the Bucks, and the crosstown rivals, the Clippers. Woo. Jason, the question is, did LeBron steal the regular season MVP in just 3 days?
Rob, it's weird. Like, before I answer that, and I usually answer first, we had this discussion about making a statement and how I always hated making a statement, because it's always based on what other people think instead of what, you just putting in the work and the statement takes care of itself. They made a statement. And LeBron right now, is the runaway MVP, to answer your question. For now, there was a discrepancy. They're like, oh, you know what? He's been in the league all this long. This is the campaign year. We should just give it to him. And everybody's like, no. Numbers are numbers. It's the Greek freak. He leads. He's about to shatter every record in player efficiency. And then this weekend happened. That man took care of his MVP rival. He took care of his crosstown rival, all in a matter of 2.5 days. Clean sweep. The first game, LeBron James came up with 37 points, 8 boards, 8 assists. The second one, LeBron James, 28 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists. Those are normal day numbers for an everyday MVP. And that is our man who just swept it out in one weekend. 2 quality teams, the number 1 seed in the East Coast, the number 3 or number 4 seed in the West Coast, but we both conceded was a stylistically bad matchup for the Lakers. Stylistically, schmilistically. Only one man doesn't care about that, and that man is the MVP right now, LeBron James.
You gotta give it to you. LeBron, man, he shows you again, like, he's just recreating himself. He's doing the best he can with what he has now, and that doesn't mean that a 6'9" or 6'8", whatever you want to call him, 250 is still not going to be able to dunk easily and, drive the lane pretty well with nobody contesting him. Like, he's on guards now. Yeah. He's on 2 guards. He's not on 3s and 4s and banging with the big bodies, Like, he doesn't have to play the 5 and be the 5 that can play everything. He's the 1, So the league is changing, but so is he, and he's evolving, and he changed, and I think the game is just opened up, and I think he's actually shown even I thought it was a week before this when he played Zion, because I thought Zion was like the big, the next coming, super hyped up, and like, what does he really do physically that LeBron did at that age, maybe, that put them on the same level? And then you see that game, and Zion compared to LeBron is a rotation player.
Right.
Yeah. And then, Kawhi compared to LeBron is a star. And he still will always be great, Kawhi, but he's never going to be a unanimous league MVP year after year after year after year.
After a while, it fades, doesn't it? If you remember Michael Jordan. Do you remember, this is way before your time, Charles Barkley played for the Phoenix Suns and got MVP in 1993.
Oh, yeah.
It should have been Jordan. It's just that somebody stood out besides Jordan
Right.
that swayed people to vote that way. And it's very, very easy to gloss over the fact that
Right.
this man has been in the league almost 2 decades and is still performing at this high level. His conditioning, along with the science, in conjunction with such conditioning, is off the page. The man is in the best shape of his life now. Everybody's like, when are you going to slow down? When are you going to slow down? He hasn't slowed down yet. So I guess my question is this one of those games, my question to you, is this one of these 2 games where all of the stars did their job and then whoever wins, you give it up, you got to give kudos to the biggest star? Because if you look at the numbers, let me steer you into this, okay? You got Greek Freak, all right? He didn't play a bad game. He got 32 points, 11 rebounds, six boards. Dante DiVincenzo was like 17 points in 25 minutes, so that was a good pitch in. They didn't do too well from the 3-point line, but neither did the Lakers. 6 for 32. But
they don't need
Anthony Davis also put up 30.
That's a deal. That's a deal breaker.
So that's the first game. The second game, Anthony Davis also put up 30. So,
That's 60 points a game.
Kawhi didn't have a bad game either. He had 27 points. Paul George had 30. So was it more about just the stars doing their job or what other people might have been? There's always got to be someone that plays bad, or 1 or 2 people that play bad that may go win these games.
I believe that no matter what player you are, the best team that's built is going to win. So the best team that's built for the players that they have. Kawhi Leonard is a star. He's not a superstar. I do not like how they put people in certain echelons. And I know this is going to sound crazy, but just because of the inability to foster your own amazing, like your own greatest, I think Anthony Davis is still a star. But he's one of the brightest stars there is, but he's not a superstar. I'm just saying.
Yo, you know why that ding went off, right?
Yeah.
That ding went off in my head when you said not a superstar. Ding, it's like, Jason, wake up. Because Rob, I got to remind Rob McLean, we don't do drug testing on this show, but I'm telling you.
All I'm saying is that his measurables, everything tests out is amazing. It's the same thing with like a Calvin Johnson. I'm not saying he wasn't the greatest receiver of all time, but he never won rings. Why? Because certain things, you have to be a team. You have to be a team. Just like what we were talking about before, or what we're going to talk about later, you can't have too much money in one position. It's just all that together. So I think that the Clippers have the best chance of beating the Lakers because they're
stylistically,
the best built.
All right.
They're the best built.
Okay.
Like Kawhi and Paul George can both put up more than 30 a game. So they can match LeBron and AD, and they're shooters. They're not in the paint and then handling the ball. Those are not 2 shooters.
Right.
So, and their teams are, I think the Clippers have a better bench. Reggie Jackson, Lou Williams, like Montrezl Harrell.
And I think they lost because their bench came up short. I mean, you look at, what's his
Kawhi
cat's
came
name?
up short.
What's his cat's name? They were just Marcus Morris.
Yeah.
Marcus Morris, who
but
usually puts up
new.
stuff. Dude scored 1 point. Jacked up 7 threes hitting on them. The whole team was like 7 for 31 from behind the 3-point line.
But again, that's a team thing. I don't believe that's a him thing. That's a coach coming to you saying, all right, you got to take the right shots. I don't care. You can have a green light, but if you're going 0 for 3 in your last 3 shots, your next shot better be wide open, or it better be a pass and a pass back wide open, or it better be a drive to the lane and you missed or you make. But you don't miss a drive to the lane. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like, make your next damn shot. Don't miss. You cannot go 1 for 7. That's where I think, again, the players take over too much with the coaches. I'm not trying to go too far, but you need great management. You need great leadership.
Yeah.
And Doc Rivers is a great leader. Got to kind of lead a little bit more. I don't see them winning the championship this year. I still think the Lakers are going to dominate. I still think MVP is going to be LeBron. But the best team built around the best players is the Clippers, but LeBron is LeBron, man. He's reinvented himself, and now he's gonna reinvent the league. We're gonna see a whole bunch of Giannis playing the points or big guys playing point. Now I'm telling you, it's just gonna happen. It's just gonna be the game. Look at Doncic. He's like 6'6". So that's just what it is. I think it was a show of what's gonna happen, which is LeBron reinvented the game.
Yes.
And Giannis is a step behind because he's trying to learn how to shoot when he should just find another ways to dominate. Like that's not his game.
All right, Rob McLean, you ain't getting off that easy. You ain't get. Look, first I want to commend you because I have stars and superstars and all that stuff. I'm a quote the great WWF and NWA legend Ric Flair when he had a problem. Everybody calling themselves legends. He had a problem with Randy Orton. This one calling himself a legend. That one calling himself a legend. Triple H, that's a legend. He's like, Shawn Michaels, you're great, but not a legend. He says, Mick Foley, not a legend, not even great. Woo! So I understand the whole superstar thing, and we could highlight people like maybe DeRozan, maybe even Paul George at the end of that. But the blasphemy of just calling Kawhi Leonard a star, a two-time MVP with two different teams, just a star. Rob McLean, Miranda, what did you feed this boy this morning?
Some good brothers.
Just some brothers burritos.
I can't mess with that. I think you just shut me down.
All I'm gonna say.
Damn, I had a whole.
I know
and you said brothers burritos. Got people in California. You know what we talking about. I'm hungry now. I don't even want to talk about this no more.
I'm just saying. I gotta, because I gotta. You know, you clapped at me. I gotta clap back just a little bit. You know what I mean?
Just blasphemy. So disrespectful.
Kawhi and Anthony Davis. Maybe it's because it's the era of LeBron. Have not been able to break through, and whether it's just from the 4 position, from the position that Anthony Davis is playing, he might have all the measurables, he blocks, he rebounds, he does everything, but he doesn't win yet. You know what I mean? On an NBA level.
Well, he ain't gonna win. He ain't gonna win when he's a leader.
But that's what I mean.
Yeah.
You know, it's not gonna be like, even Chris Paul had something else, but like still, it's just not there. You know
I got a huge problem with people calling him a superstar.
Right. Just because he does great things with bad situations.
I mean, there ain't no way in hell you're gonna call Kawhi a star and that person a superstar. I know you're gonna go that route. No. That's just ridiculous.
And I say the brightest of stars. Like I'm not trying to shut, but I'm just saying I feel like there's a difference between somebody being a unanimous Hall of Fame player and someone that's got to wait 2 or 3 years to get in. I think there's a difference.
But don't you think there's a level between star and superstar and something that's above superstar that does a unanimous Hall of Fame? That has to be a category for them because they're the best. I'm
just saying
of the best.
Not every superstar is a unanimous Hall of Fame. I'm just saying the instant you see a superstar is like, you ain't even got to
think about it.
Yeah, like skill, talent, like Kevin Garnett. You know what I'm saying? Still never truly did everything he could with his, with his volleyball greatness. But like he's still.
You said volleyball greatness.
Basketball greatness. But like he's still he did almost reinvent the game. Big man shooting, like play for 14, 15 years. Win at the end of your career. Like that's, hey, Kevin Garnett.
Whole bunch of things
First
about
rounder.
We're getting messages about are the Olympics still going to happen and this and that, but we're gonna revisit that at the end. But I do think that there are categories. I do think that there's like, first of all, this is the NBA. They're the best of the best elite athletes, so all of them deserve the recognition as elite athletes. So you got elite athletes. Then you have stars like Raonic or whatever, upcoming people. Then you got superstars. These are the people that are like starters in the All-Star game or whatever. And then you have something that's above superstar, like LeBron or Dwayne Wade or
Steph Curry.
Steph Curry, Steph Curry, Durant, Kevin Durant. Story still being written, but I think when it's done,
I agree with you on that. Like, I think talent-wise there, but I think again he held himself back in a world that we never even knew about before. Steph Curry went to a whole other stratosphere. Yeah, like for what reason? Like what? And that's what people would still.
That man changed the game, the way basketball is being played. So you got to give. He got to be something above superstar.
But how? Do you know what I mean?
Was that a rhetorical question?
Kind of.
Walk me through
it. Because it's so undescribable that it's just like glossed over. Just like LeBron, he came in, he was the hype, and then where did the hype go? It just like stayed there and just kept going up. And then everybody's like, I don't know what to say. That's what it is. It's just undescribable talent with confidence, and then other things you build on top of that, but never dipping down. Like James Harden, there's been like 3 different James Hardens in basketball in the world, and he's got a lot of pull. But he used to have like Kobe Bryant pull in like China, and like with the whole cooking stuff. Like everybody forgets about that, but like he's just like had so many like different ways to interact and to be involved with the fans and sports. It's like that's breaking barriers. You know, that's changing the game. You know, just like you're saying, like game changers. A lot of them are superstars, but not all of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? There are some who, you know, don't want that.
So Rob McLean, season ends today. Is LeBron James the MVP?
Oh yeah, today, yeah, for sure.
Okay,
for sure. No doubt about it.
Before we go to the next topic, you talked about people that transcend the sport and people that are recognized internationally. Since I'm wearing the Brooklyn shirt, that's where my story began. Okay, and of course, got my Brooklyn Nets hat.
Because no more Knicks.
Yeah, I'm just
the Knicks are just
and guess what, people? We just getting. Oh my God! We just getting started. Oh my God! All right, but before we go to the next thing, I want to plug in the spirit of Brooklyn. Stephon Marbury went to Abraham Lincoln High School. I went to I think Georgia Tech 1 year, and then eventually wound up in the NBA. Is in China right now. They built a statue for him. He's been playing ball in China and the reception, and they built a statue for that guy. That man has always tried to do the right thing. The man made a sneaker that was like affordable, like Ewing tried to do, and had some heightened level of success. So I gotta give it up for my Brooklyn boy. Congratulations, Stephon Marbury, who found a place to land. It's not the NBA, but at the end of the day, when you have a whole bunch of people that worship the ground you walk on and you enjoy playing there's some things that are more important in life. So he can tuck in his basketball career exactly where he wants to be. Good for you, my man. Yeah. What's up?
Stephon.
All right, moving on to the Knicks. New York Knicks superfan Spike Lee ran into some trouble getting into MSG last week, leading to high emotions that made the national headlines. Rob, is this another example of Knicks owner James Dolan going a little bit too far?
This is bait, Rob.
Always James Dolan's fault. I mean, do you see he just, I don't even think I've ever seen the man with a smile on his face. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he enjoys making his employees, his fans, you know, the league, just feel bad, look bad, and just hate themselves. I don't know. It's just like I don't know. This is all I can get from it, because there's nothing that makes me happy to be a Knicks fan. Absolutely nothing, except for Willis Reed in 1972, you know, Patrick Ewing in 1990. Come on, man. Like, it's been 30 years. 30 years. That's what. Okay, and this is actually what I did want to say. Like, I know I'm going off on it, but
no, people. Before you say what the other thing, it was me. I came up with this topic.
No, but this is the real thing. So look, if players can be stripped of their ability to play, you know, and I'm talking about all sports, how are owners not held to the same accountability? I know there's a bunch of billionaires, and this is where, you know, the players understand that the commissioner is a part of the owners, not a part of that, like, to help grow the game, you know. And that's where I love seeing Adam Silver, is where I think he's not controlled by either side. It's just about the integrity of the game. And it's
already one of the best commissioners. So like such a short time span in.
I think the best thing David Stern ever did. David Stern, again, best, you know, gosh, man, I can't talk.
Well, he did clean it up, right?
Cleaned it up, man. Yeah, you know, it was like small but big. Anyway.
No, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So James Dolan, like, I don't get how a commissioner can't step in and be like, you're not, and I don't know how it hasn't been since for 30 years, but how can they step in and be like, you're ruining the integrity of our league in one of our biggest markets. Everybody wants to go there, but you're actually making nobody want to come because of you. You need to go.
Yeah.
You know, players get stripped of their ability because they do things to make their bodies be able to play more, and it's not a good look for the league, and they get stripped. But owners, where there's billionaires lining up, millionaires lining up to be involved in games like this, it's just sad to see.
Somebody save us.
Sad to see. Yeah.
All right, listen, Rob McLean. I could get into this whole thing about how him and an upper management have dropped the ball in recruiting like these 5-star players, or what you would affectionately refer to as superstars, okay? You may have a chance to get LeBron James. You got a chance to get Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving or whatever. They took a trip south, wound up in Brooklyn with the Nets, okay? Not going to get into that because we we got other stuff we want to get into, but I will do the best I can to answer the current question. Did he go too far with Spike Lee? And the answer is yes. I have a question for you. Would that ever happen to Jack Nicholson?
No.
Biggest Lakers fan. Toronto Raptors. Do you ever see some drama like that going down with Drake?
I don't know if he's necessarily the most super fan, but yeah, I understand what you're saying. Like, it's terrible. It's terrible.
So my question is, and this is the one I think I'm just going to answer for myself. Should that happen to Spike Lee? No. The man averages, and I got the numbers right here. He averages $3,400 per ticket. So every time that guy shows up, he spends $3,400. He spends $299,000. Let's just call it $300K, for the year. So for his lifelong, being a lifelong Knick, the man has spent a total of over $10 million. And you have a problem with him using an employee entrance, okay? He should have a goddamn helicopter landing pad, all right? He is not just a fan. There, just like you said, there's levels to NBA players, superstar, this and that, elite, MVP. Dude, he is a super fan. He's a super duper fan, all right? This man for 28 years has been using the employee entrance, which is supposed to be limited to employees and the media, all right? So basically, for those of you that are not caught up on this, but this made national news. Even CNN had it. Well, it was talking about it. You got political channels talking about it, for Christ's sakes. So basically, he goes into the employee entrance one day, and he's got security waiting. They scan his ticket, takes the elevator up, and he's got a buttload of security people there that he said they made it look like I stole something from Macy's and tried to make a getaway. And they're like, you have to leave the arena and go out and all the way around back to the VIP entrance, which I understand anyone that's grew up in New York knows the VIP entrance. Well, yeah, I don't know if you have VIPs, but it's 2 blocks. So you want this guy who's middle-aged, almost old, right? Don't feel like moving around, to leave, go all the way around after they already scanned his ticket. Because once you scan the ticket, what happens, Rob? You leave. What happens? You can't what? Say it with me. You can't come back. You can't get back in. So eventually they smoothed it out, and Dolan raised his hand, and then basically the media blew up, their upper management blew up Spike Lee, saying, his complaint is laughable and this and that. We sent him a notice saying he can't use that anymore, and he's like, by what? But was it email? Was it phone call? Was it singing telegram? Was it a candygram? Was it one of those things? Tell me by what means you sent it to me. They don't want to answer that. So that shows we call BS. Absolute BS. All right. So the question is, has Dolan gone too far? On a normal day, no. But as far as like a movie that comes to its climatic series where it just keeps getting more heightened and more heightened and more heightened, where it build up where something's about to explode, hell yeah, he did. James Dolan, you've gone too far. All right. But I ain't, you know what? Because this is a debate show and because we keep Eminem and each other talking about the thing, I already know what you're about to say against me before I could even talk. I will highlight by saying, on a professional note, what we're doing now, yeah, we got to talk about it because it made national headlines. On a personal note, Brooklyn Nets, I don't care, okay? I do care about people like Rob who are heartbroken. I do care about people like Spike Lee who has been there when the Knicks were basically just letting anybody beat up on them. Yeah. Right?
It's sad. And that's the funny thing is,
you want Rihanna to join the Knicks because they wasn't beating nobody. Come on.
That's the thing is, like, he had to walk out 2 blocks, go back in the VIP, and
possibly be denied entry because they already scanned his ticket.
But also, he got to go watch the Knicks. That's the worst of it. He actually probably had a better night just going home, having a steak and eating, and just letting it blow over. I know it sucks, but it's like,
you don't mess with people.
He did it the right way. It's just like he probably had a better night than he did going to the game.
No, we're on the West Coast right now. Right? Now I would love to say people, if you're not from New York, you don't understand what this is about. No, you don't have to be a New Yorker to understand that you don't mess with people who cement their legacy as fans or players. What happened to Charles Oakley a couple of years ago was despicable. Having him forcibly removed. First of all, if you ever seen him play basketball, you know he don't like to be touched. So you got a whole bunch of guys touching him, which is only going to agitate him further. Now he's literally being escorted out. That's ridiculous. That was despicable.
It was really.
And don't tell me that doesn't have James Dolan's hands all over it, just like this does.
Or just negligence. Negligence is just as bad. Not caring about your organization enough to not have bad publicity.
Mm-hmm. James Dolan, helicopter pad, apology. Maybe not in that order. Maybe apologize first. Write it. Say it on national TV. Lisa helicopter and land Spike Lee's Brooklyn butt from Bed-Stuy all the way to Madison Square Garden and land on top. All right, and then have Jay-Z shake his hand and they both walk in there together. Assuming Jay-Z's not at Barclays. Come on, he's doing things there.
Definitely at Barclays.
Whew, all right.
You ready?
Yeah, blood pressure's all right. I have my blood pressure's good. I had it taken. We're good.
All right,
it was like 110/70. That's a normal day.
All right, we're going to turn to this past weekend in UFC. We had Israel Adesanya defeat Yoel Romero to retain his title in what some would call a disappointment. So, Jason, who is more responsible, the champ or the challenger?
Rob McLean.
Mm-hmm.
It's the challenger, right? The champ, Israel Adesanya, we can now call a reigning defending champion. He's won the interim title, but Rob Whittaker has been out so long. In essence, he was the champion until Whittaker was ready to fight. Mm-hmm. He was ready to defend his title again before Whittaker was ready. This man does not want to wait around. He was nice enough, even though all the UFC brass was like, no, this isn't the right time. Yoel Romero just lost twice. He had two bites at that apple, 10 whole rounds, and lost. You shouldn't fight someone that just lost two. How are you going to give him a third one? Why? Because this man wants to stay active. He knew at some point he has to fight this guy to put it on his resume. And to his credit, he's like, sign the dotted line. Let's give it to Yoel. A man who we both can concede changes people's the footprint of the 185-pound division.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody that's fought that man has never been the same. Machida is not even in the UFC anymore. He's in Bellator. Luke Rocco got knocked into 205 pounds. Chris Weidman got knocked into 205 pounds and bounced back. All right, this man has knocked down Jacare in a razor-close decision. I thought Jacare would have won, but Jacare was not the same. Everybody who has fought Yoel Romero has not been the same. But with that being said, if I give someone a bone, I don't give a damn if it tastes good or not. You are the challenger. You want to be the champion. And you want to stand in the middle of the cage in the octagon and have a staring contest at this man saying, no, you go first. To a counter striker, you deserve to lose. 7 total strikes the first round. 4-3 Adesanya. Even though I would give Romero the first round because the one time he did crack him, that thing, he was like, what happened to my eye? What happened to my eye? So to answer your question, because I got to give you some time on this, so I could go all day. Rob McLean, the onus is on the challenger.
For me, I believe it was definitely more of Adesanya. He, for me, controlled the fight. I mean, obviously, they were both counter strikers, but there was a lot more cerebral activity. And I guess you could it's just how the fight moves. This is why, Joe Rogan always says, like, there's not, or the guys, when Joe Rogan asked one of the judges, like, how many legit UFC judges are there at any time, at one time? Like 12. Yeah. And there's a lot of fights going on around the world. So there's a lot of judges that don't really understand what they're looking for,
Mm-hmm.
And even boxing was behind the times in the judging aspect. But what I'm trying to get to is
I think Vegas has gotten better with their athletic commission.
It definitely has. But I'm just saying, like, the scoring aspect of the sport of like what you're looking for in a fighter that gives you the advantage of giving him that strike as opposed to maybe it was a power strike or it was just a regular strike, or if it was a leg strike or if it was like a miss, you know what I mean? So,
right.
And so just the activity level that, Adesanya was doing, and It just, he controlled the fight, and he made Yoel, even though Yoel got him, he made much more consistent strikes, much more combined, controlled strikes, not falling over. All these aspects of body control has a lot to do in the minds of, judging. So I feel like Adesanya was a better counter striker, and he just did more to excite. I think that matters, to be an excitable fighter. Yoel his talent is excitable. What he could do is excitable, but Adesanya can actually make it happen when he needs it to. Right, so he might get cracked, but he can come back faster because he's not like, oh crap, I have to do something. He's like, I just need to do my job again, and if I need to do it more disciplined, I'll do it more disciplined. But like, it should always be about counter striking. That's what Floyd Mayweather was all about. Counter strike, counter strike, counter strike, counter strike. Oh, you're not ready because I have all this energy. I'm gonna now be offensive. I'm gonna be offensive when you're not used to being offensive. When you're offensive, I'm going to use it against you, and that's a chess match.
So Rob, this is one of these matches where, because Yoel Romero is interchangeable, he can be a counter striker or he can dominate octagon control and push the pace. I didn't know he's very interchangeable. He listen. I mean, you might disagree because a lot of his victories, his highlighted victories, came from counters. Right. If you look at Chris Weidman, Chris Weidman got murked coming in. Remember that third round? He got. God, that was just brutal. Sorry, complete your thought.
Well, no, what I was saying was I think it's just because for me, what I've seen of Yoel Romero's career is his, I always see the weaknesses, right? So his weakness is that he doesn't have a gas tank. So for me, and you see it, and thank goodness for Joe Rogan again that he breaks down Yoel Romero so well. Where,
man, thank God for that guy, yeah,
for real, because it's hard to see all the things especially the first couple times you start watching, you don't really know what you're looking for, but then you start to see things, and it goes so much deeper. But just on, the counter striking, the ability to be interchangeable, Yoel has to stop. He can't fight all the time. He has a flurry. Maybe he doesn't know how to control how much he's flurrying, which he doesn't. He just keeps going, and he gasses himself. It also has to do with your muscle content. Like, Adesanya is very lanky, very stringy.
5-inch reach difference.
Right? And that's why the whole thing was about, can he defend takedowns? Because if he can defend takedowns, if he doesn't get taken down, which again, I don't know where that was.
Yep.
Best wrestler in the building, why aren't you taking people down? Or why aren't you creating a game, like I say again, with Khabib? If Khabib is such a good wrestler, he doesn't have to be that good with his hands. Then who are these other top wrestlers?
Right.
Olympic wrestlers. I'm the best wrestler.
Sambo.
Even Askren, like, he came with all this hype of like, oh, don't let him get you to the ground. Cormier, oh, don't let him get you to the ground. When's the last time you seen Cormier roll on the ground with a guy? I don't care if he's in lightweight.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
It's been a minute.
It's been a while. And I was like, why isn't anybody doing that with him? His back is hurt. Knees are hurt. So again,
and there's MMA wrestling too, right, that factors into it, right? So some people,
it's just changing.
You're not trying to pin someone 1-2, for a 1 count. You're trying to
totally,
So,
but getting them down to the ground, you're in the total advantage, and especially if they're not at your level, or like Colby Covington. I don't know why he's not able to do some things that he's able to do against other guys. Like he made Rafael Dos Anjos look like a chump.
Wow.
And I'm not even going to throw him on the bus like that, but
no, that was just,
he chumped him.
It didn't even look like a match
at all.
And honestly, I thought his best performance, Covington, was the loss.
Robbie Lawler, though.
Yeah,
I think that was one of his best performances. I know, like, he split his lip and like he came back, but
but him showing that he can strike a little bit. Between him and but you remember between him and whatever, they had a wrestler's agreement, I guess. There wasn't one takedown attempt in all 5 rounds, so that was pretty cool to see that he's got heart like that too.
It is.
I do not like the guy. I was glad, and I speak for both of us. That's when I say I was glad he lost. Okay, but man, that was something. That was hard on both of them. They both won. 2 guys that were like, "This is my legacy." So that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, it is.
So you think the onus is more on Adesanya?
Always on Adesanya because. What he does, he's better at what he did than anything that Yoel Romero did.
Yeah.
Right. And was much more effective.
How much of this, and you go back a little bit, how much of this reminded you of Anderson Silva against Damian Maia? If you remember, Damian Maia, I'll remind you, Damian Maia went against Silva, and like for 4 of the 5 rounds, the last 4 rounds, every time he got knocked down or went for a takedown and missed, he just laid on his back and just kept inviting Anderson Silva, and Anderson Silva just stood over him for like a whole minute, and then eventually let him up. And the fans started booing Anderson. And Dana White, this is at Abu Dhabi, Dana White even refused to put the belt on Anderson Silva's waist. And I'm always quick to defend the champ. I'm like, you can't lay on your back like a dead cockroach, inviting someone to do something, inviting someone down to beat, so you can beat them at your game when he's the champion.
Yeah.
So that was where the brunt of my argument came from. And I was going to say you were nuts for saying it was on Adesanya, but your argument is valid, because it's what Adesanya does. He counters, he pushes the pace, he picks his spots. Sometimes, in his defense though, sometimes you go against someone like Yoel Romero that might be impossible to knock out, and you got to find another way to win, right? Oh, if you don't knock him out, you didn't finish him, you didn't win. That's a bunch of horse crap.
Well, the thing is like, in actuality, there's not really rounds to a fight, So like when you're fighting, these are like simulated responses to situations, right?
Yeah.
So like,
except the rules, yeah. I mean,
but that's the situations you're in. That's why these guys are so hyper focused on like doing the correct things in the right situations, so you don't get your head taken off.
Yeah,
right?
no doubt.
So it's just very interesting how like the cerebral players, you can see the difference between them.
Yes.
Like, Dominic Cruz, I don't like his execution anymore, but I loved the system he created for footwork and to try to mimic something that.
And do you see how many fighters have imitated that?
Right.
And I'm glad he did. You know why? Because there's some people that took it and used the slips to take chances, like Dillashaw. If you ever saw the fight between Dillashaw and Cruz, it looked like a mirror image of himself. Okay, and and for the MMA enthusiasts and even for the casuals, this is an interesting fight, because I know some people, they want to see MMA to look like it's Friday night in Oklahoma in some bar, a bunch of alkies just swinging, so whatever. But even people who are casuals, who like to see like a different kind of engagement, were like, wait a second, something's going on here. I want to see this now. And now they're not watching the match on mute, and partying with their friends. They're turning the sound up and they're telling everybody, yo, shut up. Shut up, I'm trying to listen, because like you said, the best commentators and play-by-play people in sports right now are the MMA guys. Between John Anik, Joe Rogan, Daniel Cormier, better than Tony Romo. Sorry, Romo, we love you, and you found your home in commentating, and Romo is the NFL king right now for color commentary. But the best color commentators and breakdown and have people understand what's going on, specifically in a sport that's not as popular as football, where everybody gets it, are the MMA guys. So big up to Joe Rogan, big up to Dan Cormier. Before we go to the next thing, since we're on the subject matter of MMA. The main event wasn't the one that stole the show.
Oh man!
It was a double main event. There was another title shot. Joanna Jedrzejczyk against Zhang Weili. Mm-hmm. Zhang Weili is not a very popular fighter, and she won the belt in China. Thank you, Tulsi Gabbard. Wherever you're out there, Congressperson Tulsi Gabbard arranged for her to get her work visa, so she was able to compete in the United States and make this title shot possible. If you look at her in the picture right there, she's in the back over there on the left. See where she is? Right there, saying, "Yep, I did that."
I brought that
big up to Tulsi Gabbard, who I'm biased. I'm gonna say who's my favorite commentator. But Rob, do you agree that this stole the show?
Wait, we gotta put it up.
Oh God! Oh, jeez! Oh man! Look at Joanna. Oh my God! That looks like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
It's already stolen this show. So it's probably stole everything. I mean, that is the nastiest. Oof! That makes me never want to step in the ring ever.
One was.
Oh my!
That was a hematoma. And this is the one that's more real. I don't know. I mean.
I swear,
this ain't even trick photography to make Joe Rogan look skinnier. That's how it looked, man. Oh my gosh! Oh, Rob! Oh!
I feel like that's like, how do you not stop a fight on that? And then these guys get, hit in the, genital area and can't recover.
We want to talk about comparisons too,
or get dropped by a knee and then
dude,
can't recover.
Exactly. There were actually this weekend and last weekend there were a ton of there were like 3 matches that I thought was stopped too early, and this one we can agree, we can make an argument that was stopped way too late.
Way too late.
You know,
I mean, it didn't look like she was really. I mean, not saying that she wasn't gonna. That she wasn't gonna win the fight.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It was a split decision, right?
Yeah.
One judge did give it to Joanna 48-47.
Like
Look at the comparison though. 768 total strikes thrown. Significant strikes landed 351 compared to the main event, which was a combined 88. So they basically quadrupled. They were rock'em sock'em robots for 2 of those rounds, and a lot of it was highly technical. Good pressing against the cage. Good educating the audience on what's going on against the cage. Again, big up to Joe Rogan. That led to this slugfest that turned out to be the best fight I've ever seen in my life until you started seeing the end, and she looked like that was some Jekyll and Hyde. Let's see that picture one more time. Oh, just so Rob could lose his lunch. Chicky.
That's gross.
Real
Man.
rough.
It's like an alien head.
Take me to your leader.
If she said that, I would be her fan.
Yeah. He'd be like right there.
Came up right after
Take it to the orange man. Knock him. Yep. You're glad you asked, because I got someone for you in the White House. So that was a match, in my opinion, that stole the show. Their ability to take a shot, the heart of a champion, and both were deserving of a champion, but there can only be one. And that night, deservingly so, because I had Weili 3-2.
Yeah,
you did too. I had her first, second, and fourth round. That's what I had.
Much closer than I thought it was gonna be.
Of course, yeah. How about that spinning back fist at the end? The last 10 seconds. Joanna was like, "I got to do that." But that's what I liked about it. They're like, "Yo, this could go to the judges. I need to do something spectacular just to leave an impression." And she really did the best she can.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
And again, not to go back to something else we were talking about before, but
go ahead.
Even if she maybe was a superstar at one point, she lost that superstar. Right?
Yep. Yeah.
I'm not saying she doesn't have the ability to get back to it, but it doesn't really work like that. You know, it keeps going up, and then if it drops off after 30, what is she, 36, 37?
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to get to what your peak was before. And I'm not saying, and you have to reinvent yourself and do all these other things. It's very possible, but it's not always very likely. And that's, I'm just saying the difference. Like, Anthony Davis got to reinvent himself. Kawhi Leonard got to reinvent himself on the Clippers, like he did on the Toronto Raptors. Yeah. And then made Pascal Siakam look like what he's looking like now.
It's true. Well, Davis is a different story because the one person that was in his way of getting the ring is now his teammate. Okay. Yeah. With Joanna Jedrzejczyk, you think about her losses. Right now she has 4 losses. Look at the losses. Valentina Shevchenko, savage. Okay, and Valentina's own weight class, by the way. She moved up to take that fight. You ain't beating Valentina unless you're Amanda Nunes, and even then you need help from the judges. Okay. Right. Rose Namajunas. All right, first one could have been kind of fluky because she got caught, but the second time they went 5 rounds. So when you go 5 rounds, that's not a fluke. Mm-hmm. So her 4 losses are 2 losses to Rose, 1 to Valentina, which we just call a wash because everyone loses to her, and this one. So her career, she needs to take some time off first of all, but her career is still not far from over because she keeps beating everybody to get there. Like there's this, we were talking about superstar in these categories. She's up there. There's the champs, and standing side by side without the belt, championship material is Joanna Jedrzejczyk. You know, but I hope that we could spend more time and talk more about Weili Zhang in her next match. She's going to take some time off too, but I hope we could spend more time and get to know her background and this and that, because I don't know a lot about her. Because there's an oversaturation of just events in the UFC, and you can only cover so much.
Well, the women's game is growing a lot as well, like very fast. Yeah, you know, kind of like the men's was growing like maybe 5-6 years ago, where it's very new. Like you don't know if like the power or the ground game and then Nunes is now the real women's champion. You know, kind of like how John Jones maybe, but like probably Adesanya or some the new guys that are like the top rise. Max Holloway was that guy for a
Yeah.
while. Just like the men's or the women's, like that one person who's kind of standing out above everybody else.
And this is a great time to have another fight in China too.
Oh, it is.
For that woman.
Oh, it is.
Let me tell you something. That place, I saw that match. That place erupted.
Maybe not right now. But
That place erupted. Well, no, I mean,
I don't think anybody's
in
traveling
order
anywhere
in
right
order for
now.
that to happen now, the coronavirus would have to go away, and she'd have to get better overnight. And her. If you saw her face, she got jacked up too. Like you have a
Yeah.
picture of her, we could do that.
Yeah, she
We
had
could do that
double.
too as we're finishing up on MMA to go to the next topic. But yeah, I would love to talk about that. But man, we trying to do this. We're trying to limit this show to like 50 minutes to an hour, so people could actually click on it. So yeah, look at her. She got jacked up too, and her eyes aren't half shut because she's Chinese. Okay, that's just, yeah. She got busted up too. But man, the shots that she ate and just kept coming forward.
Yeah.
Yo, that might be. I have a soft spot for Rose always, but that might be my new favorite 115er right there. You know, no, Karate Heidi. Just her story, and how she got to
for
where we
sure,
got to go,
for
and her being able to take shots too. You know, but yeah. All right, hey, what's up next?
Next question. The Nets just fired their head coach, Kenny Atkinson, with Kyrie and Kevin playing next year. Is this a dream job for a head coach, and who is fit for it? Whoever wants to take
That's
that
you,
one.
Bobby.
All right. Yeah. I don't know. I think it is a. I don't think it's a dream job because Kyrie's getting hurt. He's getting another surgery. He's just a ball hog kind of player. Again, kind of back to what I was talking about. I don't think it ever has to do with the coach. I think the more you have consistency in the coaching staff, the better it's going to be in the long run because at least you can see who can be accountable. You know, it's really not about what the coach does. Every coach is going to do something different. It's about how you structure your team. Best executive in basketball, Maj. Am I saying this right? Maj Taraj.
You know
what I'm
I'm
talking about?
leaning
Toronto
to you,
Raptors.
but you know I'm
Toronto
leaning to you
Raptors.
on this one, bro.
Toronto Raptors GM, best GM in the league. He's gone to literally 3 different teams and made them championship level teams, not championship
Right.
teams, but he's the reason why Toronto Raptors are what they are now. But it's just you have to create a good team. I look at their team and you know Spencer Dwindle, where is he gonna fit in? You know, in that whole mix. They got another tall shooter. You know, where is he gonna fit in there? You got Kevin Durant and you got Kyrie Irving. You should be stacked on defense, stacked with young guys, no ball handlers, and just big, or move around and be smart players or really good players. But like, you're making a team and then saying, oh, well, I'm just going to throw these 2 guys in there and we got a championship team.
But
It's gonna be horrible.
before I say what I got to say, I have a question for you. Isn't that where a good coach might come into play to see how that could work?
A good coach is good, but if you don't got players, there's nothing that's going to happen on the court. You know what I mean? Like, their players have been, I'm not saying too much bad about their players, but they haven't had good teams there since they became a franchise. You know what I mean? Like, since, like, they were the Nets. You know what I mean? Like, they need, like, good, well-based teams. And, of course, a good coach is going to help to create continuity. But if you don't have the pieces that a coach is going to be successful with, that's kind of the issue here, is that they're getting both paid too much money. And now where are your other players going to get their money? You got to go through trades and the draft. The NBA draft is not where you get players from, you know, in the short term. It's not like football where you can get a superstar and they can be amazing. You know, it's just, it doesn't work that way in basketball.
All right.
So,
yeah.
But the last thing is,
Please.
that team has been strapped for money for a very long time since they moved to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
They've been trying to put teams there so they can get, you know, an attraction in a New York Knicks neighborhood, and it's just they're cash strapped, so they don't really have much flexibility. So they spent all that money on 2 players. I don't see a team being very successful, but I see 2 great players doing great things together, and it's going to be fun to watch. But
Yeah.
a lot of disgruntled, you know, it's going to be a lot of coaching moving around. So I think it's not a dream job for a head coach because it's all going to be on the head coach. It's not going to be Kevin Durant's fault. It's not going to be Kyrie Irving's
The second
fault.
part of the question, who'd be a good coach for it? Just Just if anyone could just get out of their contract.
know.
I mean, I know you're not big on hypotheticals, but any coach can get.
D'Antoni.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they're both shooters. He loves a great point guard. They could both point for their teams, and I think he can do a lot.
7'6" wingspan too. Jesus. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, Rob. This is a 2-part question, so I'm gonna do the first one.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a dream job. This is a nightmare job for any coach that dares to take this whatever, and I'll tell you why. Just recently, Atkinson got fired. We know that. Okay, hometown person of yours. Okay, so big up. It is a nightmare job. It is an absolute nightmare job because the player's demise is what led to Atkinson getting fired. Sources say that the players pushed him out. And you mentioned that it's not like football. You're damn right it's not like football, because in the NFL is very coach dominated, where the NBA is very player dominated. Okay? So if it's a superstar, if it's a star player and a coach, that one of them has to go is going to be the coach. Totally. All right. Where football ain't no way, unless your star power is transcended, where people that don't even watch football know you ain't going. Between Brady and Belichick, Belichick ain't going. Brady's the best quarterback in the history of the game. I mean, statistically, and on a real note. So it is a nightmare because you have to have a personality powerful enough where the players are in lockstep, but at the same time are allowed to be themselves. And there's only a handful of coaches in the NBA that have that. As you know, I'm a volleyball coach, all right? So when I go into a new environment like here, like the West Coast, there's Dane Blanton, right? He coaches USC, Olympic gold medalist. There's John Mayer, multiple-time MVP guy. So there are certain things that players that I coach will react to me or say to me that they wouldn't dare say to them. And those are the ones that get dealt with and they get set straight. So there's 2 ways you can coach in the NBA very similarly. They respect you enough where they're not going to do that. Or they think you're a crazy mother fricker, okay? Where they're like, okay, this dude's crazy. Let me just do my part and get on with life, okay? I have evolved, speaking for myself, and I'm getting somewhere with this NBA thing, I've evolved into the latter because when you do this as long as me, and I've done this longer than Dan, I've done this longer than the people that have star power on the West Coast, when you've done this so long, you're not going to tolerate the disrespect. So either you got to go, maybe they pushing you out because they're not allowed to walk all over you until they get the coach they like, or they have to be so scared of you, they just do their job. And the Nets need a coach like. So one leads to 2. It's a nightmare job unless it's the coach whose personality or whose star power befits their personality. Mike D'Antoni was a pretty good choice. All right. Greg Popovich, that would be a dream job that would be a dream position for those players. Because they'd be like, oh my God, this is a ring. Because when this man coaches talent, we in the finals winning or losing. So, but Pop ain't leaving. Pop is going to stay a Spur, and that's it because they just take care of him. Okay.
Yeah. And they're locked down from top to bottom.
Yeah.
GM,
I think someone like George Karl, who Carmelo Anthony had a bad breakup with. I like him because he'll undress you. And if you get offended, you can't do nothing. So he's one of those guys where you might not respect as much as Popovich or even a college coach like the guy from Duke. I can't believe Krzyzewski. Those are players you respect, but Carl is an example of someone that someone fears. If I mess with him, it's gonna come back at me, and he's gonna write a book, and I'm gonna be in his book, and I'm gonna be all butthurt about it, and then I'm gonna be a pariah. No team's gonna want to touch me because this dude just outed me. So they need to have a coach who makes the environment uncomfortable enough if they slack off or if they think they want to be their own person, or someone who's star power that magically allows them to be themselves and be in lockstep. Steve Kerr, you think Steve Kerr got that problem?
Let me tell you this.
Go ahead.
I don't think Steve Kerr has that problem because the reason why is Mark Jackson. How about Mark Jackson?
Yes. Ooh.
He's deserved that. For
Let me tell you. Oh my God! Talk about I just talked about respect and fear. How about that guy's both?
Yeah.
How about that guy's both?
Talks to you like he's your daddy. It's crazy.
Yes.
He's just like on you. all the time.
Yeah.
Like, he created Steph and Clay.
Yep.
You know, and I mean, they're players. You know, they do their thing, but
Yeah. But he's the
Clay,
kind of guy
Clay
to be
did
like.
not play defense like that before.
But he's the kind of guy he can be like, Kyrie, why were you late? Sorry, coach, got caught up in traffic. He'd be like, I don't care if it's your mother's bar mitzvah.
Right,
You
like,
come
what
on
do you
time.
mean?
You understand me?
Yeah.
Oh, that is him, and that rubs millennial players the wrong way. Unless
I don't think so.
Unless
See,
no, but Mark, we were just talking about people that had that whose presence requires that demand, absent of what generation. So and that's where we agree.
well, and this is what I'll say is like, I think a Mark Jackson does it in such a way to not be to understand that it could be disrespectful if it goes too far.
Right.
I feel like there's people like George Carl.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, the Nets coach. Guys like him who doesn't matter until you listen.
Yep.
You know,
but those are the
until
guys,
you listen.
the coaches that you fear eventually get fired. The coaches that you respect don't. Like
No,
George
absolutely.
Karl, he won 54 games with the Nuggets, got fired. All right. Gentry is the Pelicans coach. The guy from the Raptors before Norse came in.
Oh yeah, Dwayne Casey.
Won coach of the year.
Yep.
Got fired the same year he won coach of the year.
Yeah.
So these are personalities where I don't even think someone fears or respects him because he doesn't fit in that category, but those are how easy coaches can be gone in the NBA. And this, like you said, can fall on its butt if they don't pick the right guy for this job.
Totally.
And I like Mark Jackson. And I think Kyrie and Kevin were like Mark Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
That man created the Warriors. And I like how you didn't let me get away with putting Steve Kerr and be like, hey,
Come on now.
hey.
Because what are they doing now? And no offense, like they look like trash. And this is and just this way,
Rob.
But in this way, it's like it's not about the players. It's like the way that they're acting. You know what I mean? Like they're not. Like we gave Steve Kerr the props because he dealt with all those players and he made it work with different types of people and everybody got their shots and
good
where's
assistant
that
coaching
now?
staff too.
You can if they're shooting 24% from the field.
Yeah.
Okay, it's the players.
They fight though.
But
that's different. They fight.
No, but that's so what?
You ain't got the talent. If you ain't got the talent and you're fighting, then you don't have the players.
But what's the talent? This is what I'm saying. Is like you can't say that Steve Kerr has a great system or he's done something so transitional.
Transcendent, yeah.
Yeah, transition.
Sorry, transcendent.
Transcendent. That, like, he broke the league, you know, but then, we come back and he doesn't have the players and where's the system?
Right.
You know, it's just about playing tough defense. Like, anybody can just play tough defense. You
Yeah.
know, there's a ton of coaches out there, like, Nate McMillan. He was the coach all the time. It was just defense. And his Portland teams did great until a point where they had to beat teams by scoring.
Yeah.
And this
Talented
is what I'm saying.
teams, too.
And that's what I'm saying is like, I don't care that they're not talented. Why aren't they shooting? You
Right.
know, like, why aren't they open? Like, you don't, NBA is not like a combine thing where you're faster than me, you're going to beat me. You know, it's not like that. It's when, that's in transition, but that's only if you miss your shot. You know, so you're like, there's just like a chess game to basketball. It's not just like go up and down, keep running, I'm bigger than you, I'm better than you. LeBron makes it look like that, but everybody else has to play the 5-man game. You're going to weave, you're going to stay out, you're going to pick, I'm going to curl, you know, all this other stuff. And, you know, that's the nuance of the game that I'm saying, where is that for the Warriors? That needs to be prevalent.
Right.
Before.
And the reason why we even brought up the Warriors is because I thought the one thing that they had in common is win or lose, they were fun to watch because they fight. You don't see, I mean, they make dumb fouls, they make dumb moves because in conjunction with having all of these, you lose your top 3 players basically to injury or trade. And Draymond, you know, he ain't gonna be there all game. You know, if he gets frustrated, he gets kicked out. But the one thing they had in common is they fight. Before Kyrie Irving and Durant joined the Nets, they made the playoffs last year. You know why? Because those guys balled every play. If you beat them, you earned every point you had against them. And that's why I'm concerned about my new team, the Nets, to make sure that they have the proper chemistry to go with this 5-star talent that they have with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant.
4-star talent and 5-star talent.
Yeah, agreed. All right, so I guess Miranda was tired of hearing all this. She stepped out. We're gonna. So let's our next. Actually, let's we have something for the people listening. We have something called the tail end. So we usually do true and false first, but we're going to do true and false after that because of logistical reasons. So let's do the tail end first. We got this coronavirus canceling a whole bunch of events. Indian Wells, which for the people that don't watch the Grand Slams is one of the biggest tournaments of the year internationally. Indian Wells in California, they just canceled a tournament. Harvard versus Yale just canceled their NCAA conference finals. I believe those are the two teams that are supposed to play each other. Students from Harvard were encouraged to stay on spring break and not come back from spring break. Rob, how big a deal is this coronavirus? Is this thing for real? Like on that level?
So I definitely kept my eyes on it. The thing is, from all information from all sides, and I'm not saying none of it's misinformation, but I've just heard that, it's like the flu. It's a lot more dangerous than the flu, but it's something that I think eventually, come 5-10 years down the road, that, we're going to all just have had already. And, it's just going to kind of be a part of everyday life. Like, we don't even still know, like, the flu, like we have vaccines for it. But it's still a viral infection. It's still, we have antiviral medication, but a virus is what it is. You know what I mean? It's how it grows in your system is just a part of it. So it has to go through you, and then when it's done, you'll always have those antibodies in you. And so I think that it's the smart move, to close, stadiums and to keep everybody away from each other until they get, everything contained. And there's a progress on understanding what's going on, and because we also have to understand we're on a planet. You know what I mean? Like we're beings and species on a planet that's always changing. So, I don't want to go into, the environment and stuff, but everything's changing at all times. So
Greg just texted us. Greg Faulkner, Cal Northridge assistant coach for men's volleyball and consummate SmackDown pro. Our SmackFest pro said Dartmouth College cancel their softball season as well. And a lot of schools are just, I guess, I don't know if they're Skyping their courses. I think that would be a rather brilliant idea to Skype some of the lectures. That would be ideal for for people to continue to get their education at the same time be safe. And I don't know a lot about this virus. I'm going to talk about it maybe more. Brandon Clemens is coming on the show tomorrow, and I want to know if the virus is airborne. And I want to know if that's how it's spreading, or if it's just a contact thing, or just Purell hand sanitizer sold out everywhere you go. Go to CVS. I can't even get I only wanted one. I didn't need to stock up like the Z Germans are coming.
You gotta get a little extra.
All right, cool. So we cover the coronavirus, and we got Miranda back in the room to finish us off with true or false. My homie, she had to step out. Not everybody has a big bladder, people.
That was me this weekend.
It broke on the flight here.
Oh, my God.
That was me this weekend.
We had some rough plane rides. All right, we're going to start off the true and false. Are you guys ready?
Let's do it.
Okay, first one. Houston Rockets will beat the Knicks and the Hornets, but not the Clippers.
Those are the 3 games this week. True or false?
You want it first?
True. I see them winning. They previously lost to the Knicks. They're going to come in with a fury. Hornets, come on. And Clippers, they need to get back on the saddle.
I mean, if I want to be right, I'd say true, but I kind of want to say false. I think the Knicks are going to beat them again. I saw the Knicks win the other day.
I guess Mills got those boys playing, huh? The interim, huh? Got them boys playing.
He better. Yeah. I mean,
they're 2 revenge opportunities, right? Because they recently lost to the Clippers recently. And go ahead. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I just think that the Rockets ain't gonna last doing what they're doing.
All right, next one. From March 14th on, Tom Brady will dominate the headlines.
True. I don't know if it's March 14th. I think it's probably the 18th. But Tom Brady, that's when he's going to start talking to people as far in regards to free agency, and that is all we're going to hear about in the NFL. And I feel awkward talking about it again. They're not even in season right now. But true.
What's so funny is it's so true because he literally, like, there's a segment on ESPN on which team, and they're going through all 31 teams
Yeah.
about how Tom Brady would look on their team, and none of them look bad. Honestly, I mean,
like projections say they're just gonna have a better win-loss record.
Have a better team.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna either rebuild your team, you're gonna teach your new quarterback a better, routine, or you're gonna be going to the playoffs, or you're gonna be maybe getting to the echelon of the Super Bowl. You know, it's like it all looks good. So Tom Brady's on the way up.
All right, cool. Next one.
True or false? Dak Prescott's new offer is $33 million with $105 million guaranteed. He should take it.
False. I mean, he's already beaten everybody else's guaranteed money. Ryan, Russell Wilson, but you know what? As long as they keep going, I'd say he goes a little bit more and then stops from there.
James Dolan and Jerry Jones, don't listen to this man. Why are you paying this man $33 million? Are you kidding me? Get this guy out of town. You can pick up any one of the quarterbacks that are free agents this year and have a better season.
That is an emphatic true on Rob's part.
Pay half the money. Are you kidding me? And it's guaranteed 105. Are you kidding me?
I'm saying he should eventually take the money, but I think if he held out this long, it wouldn't hurt to hold out a little bit longer.
I thought that they didn't. We'll talk about this after.
No, he turned down the 33, but the 105. No, but the 105 guaranteed.
I thought
was an
didn't
extension
guarantee
of that.
anything.
Well,
I thought that was like maybe.
If you're pulling Antonio Brown, of course you lose your guarantee. Okay.
Yeah, but no, I was saying I thought they didn't guarantee anything. I got to look that up, and we're gonna talk about it another time.
Definitely, but for now, you say true and I say false.
True, absolutely.
Let's
true.
go.
Get his money.
Next one. Teddy Bridgewater is a free agent but should stay with the Saints.
I got to go with true. I don't see Drew Brees playing 1 or 2 more seasons. He's gonna have one of the top 5 coaches in the NFL if he stays there. Stay. I know his time is now, and I respect that. But he can land somewhere where where his strengths are not going to play to the needs of that certain program, and it's a big risk if he leaves. It could pay off too. But where?
Yeah.
Talk to me, Rob. True or false?
Well, he has the choice. So when he sees that money, and I think he's going to get money from a team, maybe like a Detroit or maybe like a Miami. Trying to just not have to spend a draft pick on a quarterback right away.
Bridgewater is a fit for Miami, though, right?
Good fit.
Yeah. Okay.
Warm weather, same area, played in college.
So you're going with true or false?
I'm going with true. He should stay, but I really hope he doesn't. Because I'd love to see him somewhere else, give him a chance. Because the Minnesota Vikings just was not for him.
You lose your relevance not being on the field really quick in the NFL, man. And that means a lot too. That means a lot for your contract and your free agency.
Because he can do maybe like a short contract somewhere else. I would love to see that.
Cool.
Okay, true or false? John Jones should fight Dan Cormier next.
Dan Cormier said he was going to retire a year ago. Said he was done. March. This is March last year. And I think this time he really means it. And I'm going to go with true. I'm going to see that run back, even though Johns doesn't owe Daniel Cormier a damn thing.
Absolutely false.
Yep.
Absolutely false.
For that reason, could be false.
Dan Cormier is done.
Yeah.
Get him out. Please don't hurt nobody.
Okay.
I mean yourself.
Yep.
All right, next one. Russell Wilson is the best top 5 quarterbacks no one talks about.
Best top 2 quarterbacks no one talks about. I don't know.
I'm gonna go true with you. Best top 2, man. I mean, he's in a small market town. Even won a Super Bowl, got to a second one. His quarterback rating and his completion percentage his first five years shattered every record. If this man was a New York Jet, if he's a New York Giant, if he were a Dallas Cowboy, they'd be having statues of him right now.
Absolutely.
100% true. Next question.
Absolutely.
True or false? If Tom Brady is not with the Patriots, the Bills are the team to beat in the AFC East.
That's your question.
Come on, I'm biased. True.
No, man.
And the Miami Dolphins ain't gonna beat them. The Jets are Sam Darnold, USC quarterback gonna beat the Buffalo Bills.
Really
and in light of the fact they got
year.
Josh Norman from Washington.
I know.
They got Norman to solidify an already stout defense, a quarterback that doesn't beat himself, and a running game with Singletary is only running more downhill. Gotta go with the only thing that they only lost 2 games in their conference, and that of course was the Patriots, and they still got to the playoffs. So that means not only they're beating everybody else outside of their conference rival, now they have a chance to beat their conference rival absent of their best player, but still with. Got to remember, you still got that coach, looking like the Emperor from Return of the Jedi with his hoodie. But got to go with you.
I mean, I'll go with true because that is just the worst division in football outside of the two teams we talked
It is the
about.
worst division.
I mean, the Giants, I mean, the NFC East have been one of the worst.
They've
in
been the
football.
NFC least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're probably the worst, but I'm going to say you guys are right there with us because, man, the Jets have been bad forever. The Redskins have been bad forever, on our side. The Bills, I'm not trying to be mean, but they've been bad forever too. I'm glad they had a good season last year.
Yeah.
I like blue and red. I like those colors.
Yeah, red, white, and blue. What's up?
So I don't mind. I would say true. I would say true.
All right, cool.
All right, true or false? Kansas City is going back to the Super Bowl.
False.
True.
We singing two different karaoke songs.
True.
All right, I gotta go with false. I think the Ravens under the good leadership and pretty good defense are gonna fix what was broken. Nah, okay.
Maybe I'm just in the moment, man. But Patty Mahomes. That's something next. That's next level.
That's the person you give.
Again,
but that's the person you give your 105 guaranteed to.
Exactly. And again, a great organization from top down.
Yes.
From top down. A passionate top level, and then a dedicated mid level. Andy Reid being the head coach and kind of the ipso facto GM.
Yeah.
He does. It's Andy Reid, man. He has real control, and now he actually has players that can. Donovan McNabb, that was the reason why. He was just the X factor, and then you got another X factor in T.O.
Yeah.
Coach doesn't got to be that guy, so great to see Andy Reid.
You're right with a top 3 coach, top 2 quarterback. Yeah.
Nah, he is the one.
Look, I say false, but I'm not prepared to fight with you on this one. We talking about Reed and Mahomes, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah.
All right, listen, for all the fans watching us, thank you for tuning in. And I apologize emphatically. This is supposed to be like a 50-minute show, but there's some things that require running over. And we're both big MMA enthusiasts, and of course, we got to finish with the big 3. We ain't talk about baseball much, but we're gonna cover that next week. Okay. For all of you at home, for Miranda, my hostess with the mostest, where you at? Say. Okay, and for my guy, Rob, keep it McLean. I am Jason DeBillius, and I say... The Option Podcast on OptionVB.com. It's also available on iTunes and Spotify, and on YouTube under the NY Varsity Sports handle. You're going to love what you hear.